So Hillary Clinton's people released some new ads. I want to take a look at the first one, and then we'll discuss.
We're going to be a unified party.
He is a con artist.
A phony.
Donald Trump is the know-nothing candidate.
Donald is a bully.
This is an individual who mocked a disabled reporter.
I don't remember.
Who attributed a reporter's questions to her menstrual cycle.
Blood coming out of her wherever.
The most vulgar person to ever aspire to the presidency.
The man who seems to only feel big when he's trying to make other people look small.
Don't worry about it, little Margot.
Gentlemen, the man is utterly amoral.
The sign of deep insecurity and weakness.
The bullying, the greed, the showing off.
I'm really rich.
The misogyny, the absurd third-grade theatrics.
Count to 10, Donald. Count to 10.
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot.
A narcissist at a level I don't think this country's ever seen.
He would not be the commander-in-chief we need to keep our country safe.
This guy is so unfit to be commander-in-chief.
His domestic policies would lead to recession. His foreign policies would make America and the world less safe.
I bring people together.
Everybody loves me.
He needs therapy.
Now, a lot of websites that, let's face it, lean in Hillary Clinton's direction, had headlines like, "Ooh, she released some devastating ads against Donald Trump." They were fucking giddy over it. I don't like it. Now, understand, guys, I'm gonna keep it real with you no matter what. So when I see a Hillary ad that I like against Trump, I'm gonna tell you I like that ad. I'm gonna tell you why I like that ad. I don't like this ad. Here's the problem with it. You're taking people who are less liked than Donald Trump and attacking him with their words. It won't do anything. So when you have Mitt Romney, who roughly -8 people in the country like, attacking Donald Trump, people are going to go, yeah, but I like Donald Trump, especially in the Republican base. Yeah, I like Donald Trump more than I like Mitt Romney. He's the loser. And that's how Trump has been this too. Loser. He's a loser. You have fucking Jeb Bush in there attacking Donald Trump. I don't even think Jeb Bush likes Jeb Bush. So who are you convincing with that ad? There's nobody that's going to watch that ad and go, yeah, you got him because, you're making an effective argument against him. No, and that's the point, is it's kind of bordering on PC outrage. You're not really doing policy specifics here. You're doing, oh, look at these other bad people who dislike Trump and think he's a bad person. And then, so what? So what's really happening here is she's trying to get Republican votes. She's trying to get Republican votes. That's what she's doing. Hillary, you're never going to get Republican votes. Now, some people might say, well, Kyle, how the fuck can you say that? There's been a litany of Republicans who've come out and said, we will never back Trump. Well, number one, that doesn't mean they're going to vote for her. And number two, that doesn't mean that, she's going to get Republican base voters, people who are like the people in America. The only people who would even fucking consider it are, people who are in the establishment. So neoconservatives and people like Bill Kristol, people who have a shitload of money, are connected to Wall Street, and would lean in that direction for that reason. That demographic in the country is so tiny. It's the tiniest fraction of elites and establishment Republicans. No actual average Joe Republicans are going to vote for Hillary Clinton. It's just not going to happen. So you're reaching for a tiny demographic that, in her mind, she thinks is bigger. She thinks she can get like Republican base voters to cross over because she thinks there are Republican base voters who are super anti-Trump. They don't exist. They don't exist. The only Republicans who are against Trump are in the establishment. So your ad here is just, you're aiming at the wrong demographic, and yet again, who are you going to lose? Your base voters. She couldn't be more smug and dismissive of her own base voters. I mean, to actual liberals and actual progressives, where she said she's not going to do anything to try to reach out to Bernie supporters, and she's begging Bush donors now to back her. I mean, you're gonna lose them, Hillary. You're going to lose them. They're either going to stay home, they're going to vote Jill Stein, they're going to write in Bernie Sanders, or a very tiny percentage of them will flip and vote for Trump. I've seen it myself. Granted, it's anecdotal, but I got a lot of people tweeting me, if not Bernie, I'm going to go for Trump because fuck this fucking system. So it's the wrong strategy. You're going in the wrong direction, and you're not to use Jeb Bush and Mitt Romney and Ted Cruz. Like, Ted Cruz is saying he's never seen a narcissist bigger than Trump. Look in the mirror, dipshit. You might be right there with him. So I don't, it's this stupid strategy that she thinks is like a gotcha. It's not a gotcha. It's not a gotcha. You're only going to make them stronger with stupid attacks like this. All right, but now let's get to the second ad, because the second ad I think is a little bit better. Let's watch and then I'll explain why.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. I'll use the word anchor baby. This is a country where we speak English, not Spanish. You're going to have a deportation force. I will get rid of gun-free zones on schools. My first day, it gets signed. A total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Do you still believe that Muslims should be banned from entering the country until we can figure out what's going on, as you've said?
Yes, we have to find out what the hell is going on. What do you think of what I said? It's fine. And if we want to go stronger, I'd go stronger too. When you get these terrorists, you have to take out their families. Bomb the shit out of them. Maybe Syria should be a free zone for ISIS.
Can you tell the Middle East we're not using a nuclear weapon?
I would never say that. I would never take any of my cards off the table.
How about Europe?
I'm not going to take it off the table.
You might use it in Europe?
He appeared to mock a reporter with a disability.
I don't remember.
Planned Parenthood should absolutely be defunded.
How do you ban abortion?
You'll go back to a position like they had, where people will perhaps go to illegal places.
Should the woman be punished for having an abortion?
There has to be some form of punishment.
Will you condemn David Duke and say that you don't want his vote or other white supremacists?
I don't know anything about white supremacists, so I don't know. Knock the crap out of them, would you? I'd like to punch him in the face. Everything I said I do, folks, I do, okay? I do.
Much better ad for the simple reason it's more policy-oriented. So they have his words about Mexicans, they're rapists, the deportation force. He wants to ban gun-free zones on school campuses. He wants to ban all Muslims. He wants to kill the families of terrorists. He wouldn't take off the table nuking Europe. He wants to defund Planned Parenthood. And the list goes on of just the idiotic policies that he's in favor of there. If you focus on that, you have a much better chance of winning. And even that white supremacy part was good, where he's like, well, you don't want the votes of the KKK, right? He's like, well, white supremacy? I don't know anything about white supremacy. I don't know. Not a good answer. So that stuff is much more policy specific than the other ad, which just tries to generate outrage by using other idiot Republicans to attack him. So that's a better one, but I still have some criticisms of this one, and I still don't think in the end it's going to be super effective, because I think that, number one, it's way too long, and number two, it's not simple enough. And I think people underestimate how important that is, because people nowadays, we have the attention span of a gnat. And we're looking all around, fucking checking Twitter, looking on Facebook, doing 8,000 different things. So it's a decent ad, don't get me wrong, but there's just too much jammed in there, and you don't let the message sink in with each, punch you land on them. So when you jump from one thing, they're rapists, deportation force, gun-free zones banned on schools. You gotta hit them, and you gotta understand the weight of what you just argued. So you gotta let it settle. You know what I mean? Which is why I don't like these minute-long ads or longer. I'm honestly much more like 15-second ads, 30-second ads, and it's gotta be highlighting one specific issue. You can make a million ads, but let them each highlight one specific issue. And, I was thinking about it. What kind of ad would I run against Trump? What would be my, biggest, hardest hitting ad against Trump? Well, it does include a piece of audio that they used in there when he said we have to attack the terrorist families. I would include that audio in there. And then I would have John McCain or some general come out there, and you see him, dressed in uniform or whatever, and you have him say into the camera, Trump doesn't want to fight ISIS. He wants to become ISIS. And boom, cut it off there. So have him, isolate him saying, let's target civilians in the Middle East, and then cut to a general where he says, Trump wants America to become a terrorist nation. Cut to Trump again, where Trump made the comments about how the Geneva Conventions are a problem. Play that audio. Then jump to the next and have the general say, Trump doesn't want to fight ISIS. Trump wants to become ISIS. And then have some scary music and post on the screen, vote Donald Trump for America to become ISIS, or something to that effect. I haven't thought of a witty way to frame that in a punchy, simple way to frame that. But that's what you do. And you run that ad over and over and over and over and over until people go, oh, Donald Trump, he wants to be a terrorist. He wants America to be a terrorist nation. That's what you do, and that would work. Like, for example, against Barry Goldwater, who Hillary Clinton supported, by the way. There were ads against him that turned him into the character and the president that would drop the nuclear weapon. And people said, whoa, this guy's that crazy? I could never vote for him. Because they kept running that ad, they kept doubling down, they kept hammering him and saying, he's gonna drop a nuke, man. He's gonna drop a fucking nuke. He's gonna drop a nuke. And they, obviously then there'd be retaliation. So I think it was his ad, the Daisy ad, is it called, where like this little girl on a playground gets incinerated in a fucking nuclear weapon. People went, oh shit, if we vote for this guy, we're gonna get nuked too, because if you nuke somebody, they nuke you back. Well, that's what you gotta portray Trump in the same way. So, because it is kind of true about him. I don't want that guy having nukes. He's impulsive as fuck. He just said to Chris Matthews, I wouldn't take off the table nuke in Europe. I wouldn't take it off the table. You fucking should. You should, dipshit. So, yeah, use his words against him and short, to the point, punchy ads. I'd also make an ad at some point with his contradictions. I wouldn't even use anybody else's words. I would just... Everything he said, like on taxes, he's flip-flop on taxes like a motherfucker. On wages, he's flip-flop like a motherfucker. On foreign policy, he's flip-flop like a motherfucker. He's flip-flop on virtually every single issue. So why not, in the short, quick, punchy sound bites, have him say one thing and another thing, one thing and another thing, one thing and another thing, one thing and another thing. And at the end of the ad, just say one thing. Which Donald Trump are you voting for? He's taken every position of every issue. So there are ways to attack him and bring him down. They're not there yet. This campaign is not there yet. Because especially with the ad with the Republicans attacking him, that's not going to do dick, okay? And the other ad is a little bit better, but it's too busy. You got too much going on, too many things. You have to understand that your words carry weight. And so when you have a 15-second or 30-second ad and you hammer one issue, you got to leave people with the impression like, oh my God, this is huge. Because guess what? It kind of is huge. So that's how you run the campaign. Is it possible Hillary Clinton blows this thing? Of course it is, because, as I said the other day, if she runs a PC outrage-based campaign, she's going to lose. So if she does do what she did against Bernie, I can't be the establishment, I'm a woman. You're going to lose. You're going to lose if you do that. So if she goes down that path, if she continues to snub her base, she will lose. But is it possible to run a solid campaign against Trump and destroy him? Absolutely. You just got to know what you're doing.